uniform. He's a very impressive guy. I mean, he wears his military uniform with great dignity. And of course, he shows up making the point. I have military experience. I am a person who you can count on. And
he has the image to do it. He's got the experience. He's from Virginia. They make him the commander-in-chief, and he modestly says, I'm really not equal to the task, and I'll just do my best.
But unless some unlucky event should happen, unfavorable to my reputation, I beg it may be remembered by every gentleman in the room that I this day declare with the utmost sincerity, I do not think myself equal to the command I am honored. George Washington.
His behavior seems somewhat disingenuous. Clearly, he wanted it. He was very ambitious. He was particularly ambitious in military matters.
Early on, he realizes that the best way to be ambitious is to convince everyone.
Gegnerische Streitkräfte entdeckt.
Attention, aidez cette cible.
Feueralarm! Problem gelöst!
in the months since Lexington and Concord, rebel militia in the hills around Boston had laid siege to the city, trapping the British and their loyalists inside. Now the British command is planning to break the rebel stranglehold with an overwhelming offensive up Bunker Hill, take the high ground around Boston. But the Colonials are a step ahead of the British. Spies have slipped the British plans to the rebels. Up in the hills, regimental commanders from Connecticut and Massachusetts lead their men to fortify Bunker Hill. Then decide to move one hill closer to Boston on Breed's Hill. There, they dig in for a British attack. Midnight, June 17th. 1,200 militiamen race the clock to beat to sunrise, or it reveals their position to the British below. They must control the high ground before the enemy makes its own move. At daybreak, sleeping British ships in Boston Harbor spot the militia positions and sound the alarm. All of Boston awakens with a start. The Patriots had beaten the British to the punch. The first full battle of the Revolution is joined. As the Redcoats assemble for battle, ships in the harbor try to pin down the militia with cannon fire. Under the command of General William Howe, lines of British soldiers, bayonets at the ready, climb the hill, easy targets for a man and musket that can shoot straight. British army. Twice, Howe's men charge up Breed's Hill. Twice, they are repelled by the militia. From roofs and hilltops, civilians come out to witness the bloodshed. It is war as spectators for, but many fear for their loved ones in the fight. The rebel barrage goes on for 3 hours, till they run out of ammunition. Despite their advantage, the rebels have no choice but to retreat. The British finally capture the hill on their third charge. The ground is strewn with coated bodies. The new commander now realizes what no one in faraway England could possibly understand. This is not rebellion. This is war.
When I look to the consequences of it, in the loss of so many brave officers, I do it with horror. The success is too dearly bought. British General William Howe.
The British pay a horrendous price for their victory at Breed's Hill, which erroneously but permanently becomes known as the Battle of Bunker Hill, after the original target. 1,000 of the 2,300 British soldiers, nearly half, are dead or wounded. The Americans lose 271 men out of 1,600. In defeat, the colonists have won. A paradox that over the next 6 years will come to characterize the Americans' bloody war for independence.
Bunker Hill was a defeat, of course, for these colonists. That they inflicted such heavy losses on the British that it makes them cocky. That was the best trained, most professional army on earth. Look at the damage we did to them. It really gives them way too much cocky.
Gegnerische Schlachtschiff gesunken. Unser Sieg ist in Sicht.
In the days following the Battle of Bunker Hill, even as Congress begins to provide for a continental army, the delegates make one last attempt at reconciliation with Britain. They send the king what they call the Olive Branch Petition, respectfully requesting that he grant the North American colonies autonomy within the British Empire. Like all communication that crosses the Atlantic, it will take months for an answer. General George Washington can't afford to wait to build an army. He alone holds the keys to liberty or to death. June 1775. As word of the valiant defense of Boston's Bunker Hill reaches Philadelphia, General George Washington writes a new will and heads off to meet his destiny. Whatever mortal fears Washington harbored, the people he meets on his way to Boston have no such misgivings about the man charged to defend them.
The appointment gives universal satisfaction. I was struck with General Washington. Dignity with ease and complacency, the gentleman and soldier look agreeably blended in him. Abigail Adams.
Cambridge, Massachusetts. Washington is in for a terrible surprise. Despite their brave defense of Breed's Hill, Men he is coming to command fail even his worst expectations.
He really has a task that is absolutely mind-boggling. We say that there was an army around Boston. There wasn't an army around Boston. There was a gaggle. These men are ragged, disheveled, getting drunk on duty, knowledge of how to handle a musket efficiently. There was no discipline, there was certainly no hygiene, very little structure. It was a mess.
These are Washington's revolutionaries. This is the army he has to defend against the British Empire.
Whatever Washington may think of his soldiers as men and as citizens, as soldiers, they're not much use to him.
A dirty, mercenary spirit pervades the whole. But I have seen what I have. No consideration upon earth should have induced me to accept this command. George Washington.
The general must start from scratch and personally attend to even the lowliest, rudimentary functions.
His first tasks are fundamentally administrative tasks. Junior had to count men, how to purchase supplies, how to buy tools, where to dig latrine, where to butcher meat, where to bury offal. These are all things that, amazingly enough, Washington